Hey, what's going on, Facebook family? If those are you that have been following my 30-day plant-based immersion, you will know that this is, let's see, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This is day 4 of that immersion. If you've been following my journey into this plant-based, whole foods, forks over knives world, then you will know that I cheated a little bit in a good way, that I've actually been on this now for 9 days in a row. And if you're counting at home, I've also been on this program roughly about, what is it, like 12 out of the last 15 days. It's kind of like if you're counting a sports team's win streak or how many games they've won in their last 15. Anyway, I've been on this thing quite a bit now, and I'm experiencing what I would say is a lot of success, a lot of great results. I'm so happy just at how I'm feeling. I mentioned at the onset of this that this is just my journey. I'm not a health coach. I actually do have a coach, a certified health coach that is working with me. She's been plant-based for over 30 years. Her name's Sharon McRae. I will link her down below. She is absolutely amazing. So far, I've had 2 sessions with her. This was really my first session now that I've been kind of on track with this whole foods plant-based eating, and it was eye-opening. It was really good. Sharon does not hold anything back, and that's just how I like coaching sessions to be. She was really honest with me about what she was seeing. I'm actually food journaling and logging everything I'm eating, but in addition to that, I'm also keeping a food journal about how I'm feeling after every meal. And this is something that I haven't done in a long, long time. What's been cool about it is that it allows me to see which foods are causing different responses in my body. It also continues to allow me to see which emotional states I'm in when I make food choices. This is something that's been a hallmark of the online program Rewrite Your Story that I've done with you guys at drmondo.org. So we always want to be in touch with, of course, what emotions are we feeling and why are they influencing our food choices. But on top of that too, this has allowed me to see which different whole foods that I'm eating are impacting me in different ways. And mostly the impact's been super, super positive. So nothing but good stuff to mention. One of the things I'll tell you is I have more energy. Maybe that's why I'm talking a little bit faster today. I have more energy than I typically have had prior to starting this whole foods plant-based immersion. On top of that, another thing that I've noticed is that I'm also sleeping better. Traditionally, I'd always be someone that slept anywhere from 6 hours to maybe 7.5. But now I'm actually sleeping right around 8 to 9 hours. And I'm not really waking up much in the middle of the night too. So again, these are things that I've just been noticing more recently as I've been on this journey now 9 days in. Some other things on the other side that I've noticed is that I was getting headaches from time to time, and Sharon helped me understand that part of the reason for that may be because I'm also right now detoxing not just from all of the toxins in my previous diet, but also detoxing from caffeine. I've been cutting back huge on my coffee intake, and anyone who knows me knows I'm a huge coffee fan. So that's been tough, more from just a routine standpoint and from a social standpoint, but it has been really good to kind of see just some of the effects of that too, noticing that the foods are enough to keep me energized. And so she mentioned the headaches should go away with some time as my body resettles, especially as I give up caffeine more for the long term, which is scary, but it's something that I'm willing to give a try as I go through this immersion. So some other things that she mentioned to me, she looked at my food log, and as I just review some of the notes here, one of the things she said is, hey, you're not getting enough leafy green vegetables. And she said this is one of the most common things that she will notice from people who she's coaching, especially people who she's coaching that are looking to release some weight in this process. And that is definitely me. I'm looking to release some weight in this process. So she said, one of the things that you'll notice is that you need to mix in more leafy green vegetables. A lot of people will mix those into salads, but she was saying, there's so many amazing ways to saute vegetables. There's so many different ways to bake vegetables, and to then throw your nuts or your avocado or your fatteners then on top, but in very small doses just for flavoring. Even you can throw some beans in there. But she was really encouraging me, number one, huge takeaway is you got to mix in more leafy greens. She said, on the whole, everything else that she was looking at, she was really impressed with. It's been very transformative to the way that I used to eat. Another key thing that she pointed out was she said, if you are looking at all to try to release some weight, something that you want to keep in mind is that you want to, with your whole grain sources, move closer and closer to getting to the natural source and further away from processed grains. So what does that mean? That means bread, obviously, is something that in a whole foods, plant-based diet, she recommended that that's okay to have bread, of course, but realize the types of breads that you're eating. And this is something that maybe a lot of us already know, but just because it says wheat doesn't mean it is wheat bread. On top of that, she said, if we could just get away from bread altogether, that's probably the most optimal thing that will help you release some of this excess weight. So I'm paying attention now to mixing in some other types of whole grains that she mentioned. And I'm going to have to pull my notes up because I didn't even know about some of these whole grains that she mentioned to me. So where are they at? So oat groat. Has anyone heard of oat groat before? Please tell me that it's a universal thing, that no one's heard of this except these really amazingly healthy whole foods plant-based eaters, because I had never heard of oat groat. But Sharon broke down this process and says that, when you look at steel cut oats, and there's 4 different levels of oats that go all the way to quick oats, whether they're getting steel cut, whether they're getting rolled, they're going through a process, and that is affecting how much nutrients we get from those grains. And it's also impacting what other stuff we come in contact with the more things are processed. Sharon, if you're watching, I'm probably butchering this. You could probably explain this so much better than I could. This is not my lane. I'm just trying to give this information back to some folks. But bottom line is this. She said, look, it's going to make you feel more full. You're going to notice a difference in your energy levels if you can get closer to the sources of the whole grain. So she said, oat groat in replacement of oatmeal or steel cut oats. Steel cut oats are good, but if you can get one level up to the oat groat, now we're really getting to the source. I'm not going to even pronounce this right, so is it millet? I want to call it Malay. I don't think it's Malay. Maybe it's millet. Maybe it's not any of those things I just said. That's another grain. She says, try that out. That's something that you would really enjoy. She also talked about teff. Again, these are all brand new words to me. I'm going to have to go look them up and ask for help from one of the clerks at the Sacramento Natural Foods Co-op next time I go there. But black rice and wild rice, now those are things I've heard of. So I think I can mix some of those in. But her key takeaway here, and my key takeaway was, look, on the whole foods diet, whole wheat pasta, there's lots of great recipes on the Fork Silver Knives website for that. But if you're looking to release some weight, just keep in mind that that's some stuff that you might want to transition to once you get closer to your ideal weight range. And I'll tell you that I'm saying the word weight. Sharon would barely even say this word in our coaching call. She said, I'm so happy to hear that you're not weighing in. I want you to focus more on being in tune with your body, how you're feeling in response to certain foods, rather than spending time on looking at a scale. So again, guys, this is my personal choice, but I do not weigh myself. And you know what? I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I just know my relationship to the scale. I know that the reality is, if I'm weighing myself on a journey like this, I'm going to try to have the best possible week I can have. And if I jump on that scale and that number is not what I want it to be, I end up so frustrated that I end up just saying, you know what? I want to sabotage it. Screw it. This isn't working. Even if my body's feeling great, that's my own messed up stuff that I'll do to myself. I've accepted it. It's part of something that I just know about myself. The other thing is that I could have such a great week on the scale that, you know what I'll do? I'll game the system a little bit. That'll give me license to play around a little bit more and say, hey, I might have some more cashew cheese. I might, really get a little crazy here with this vegan nacho cheese that's store-bought rather than making it at home myself. So, these are all things that I know happens to me when I weigh myself. It ends up taking me further away from what this is all about. This is all about, for me, getting healthier. This is all about, for me, seeing my blood test results improve. It's all about feeling better. That's really what this is all about. It's about my clothes fitting looser. It's about having more energy. At the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding. If this works, I will find out as I go through 30 days, and chances are, so far, being 9 days into, I could tell you that it's working, and I think I'll be on this longer than 30 days just because I love it so much. A couple other key takeaways that I wanted to share with you guys, and then I will let you guys get back to your busy work days, and I'm sure that you have, and I have too. Some other cool things that she mentioned. She said there was some documentaries and books that she mentioned. Why don't I jump to that? So books. Sugar, Salt, and Fat, How the Sugar Industry Duped Us. I'll say it again. Sugar, Salt, and Fat, How the Sugar Industry Duped Us. That was a book recommendation she made. Another one is The Pleasure Trap by Alan Goldhammer and Doug Lyle. Two books that, her explaining the pleasure trap and how different foods that we're eating are releasing dopamine. You know, some of you guys are out there saying, I'm addicted to sugar, I'm addicted to food. And you know what? A lot of what Sharon's enlightening me on is, as I've shared with you, there's an emotional tie that we have to food. It's more than just I like cake. But tell you what, there's something inside of that cake that makes you like it a little bit more too. And so some of these books are really talking and deconstructing the relationship that we have to food from a physiological level, and the additives, the things that they're putting into these foods to make us release dopamine in our brain, which is one of the neurotransmitters that makes us feel happy and excited and joyful. It's the same way that drug companies would look to make the right batch of crack or whatever other drugs they're trying to make so that we get hooked. So it's really eye-opening stuff. The final book, and it's one that has been talked about probably a lot, and you probably heard a lot about it, but it's by Joel Furman. I think it's called, I forgot the name of it. Someone help me out here. Someone type the name of the book for me. I just said it to someone too. Anyway, Joel Furman, his book, really important, amazing book. That's the book I'm starting with. I will find out what the name of the book is. I will put the name of the book below. That's the one that I'm going to be starting off reading. Joel Furman was a nutritionist turned medical doctor, plant-based doctor. His dad was dying of cancer, and his dad was able to reverse cancer by a whole foods plant-based diet, and that inspired Joel to move away from being a nutritionist to become a medical doctor and to get the message out there about whole foods plant-based eating. And his book, he has a couple of them, but there's a foundational book. The name slips my mind, but it's amazing, and I'm going to read it, and you guys should too. So those are some big takeaways. There was a quote too, and I'll end on this. God, Sharon has so many good quotes. Numbers don't kill people. The food we put in our bodies is what kills us. And she was taking that, I believe, from Dr. Ethelstein, who's one of the doctors featured in Forks Over Knives. And that quote just really took me, because she was saying about my numbers, she said, look, your cholesterol numbers are going to change, but even if they don't change a ton, what really matters is how you are fueling your engine. And she said, at the end of the day, if you are fueling it with the right whole plant-based foods, then you're in good shape. Some people's cholesterol tends to be a little bit higher genetically. We don't know necessarily why that is, but we want to see dips in some of these numbers, but don't hinge your success only on numbers, which that fits into my belief system on the scale too. The scale only tells one part of the picture. And so again, that was a big quote. She had so many more. I'm going to do a little blog write-up, and I'll talk more about that in there. So Sharon McRae, that's my plant-based certified health coach. She's amazing. She's based out of Maryland. She just put on a conference last week out there, had over 200 people, and they were all there sharing their amazing life-changing experiences on this way of eating. So it's got me fired up. I don't know if you could tell. It's got me fired up. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great week. If you are interested in joining or following my journey a little bit more closely, you can add yourself to the group. You got to request to be added to the 30-day Dr. Mondo's Plant-Based Immersion Transformation Group. Again, I'm not selling anything. I'm not a health coach. This is just my own journey. This is, if you want to just not be bombarded with all of my updates on this Dr. Mondo page, you can find them in the group page. Keep going to the gyms you're going to. Keep talking to the nutrition experts that you have, the coaches you have in your life at those gyms. I'm not trying to replace anyone. I'm just telling you about my story my journey and why I'm on a whole foods plant-based immersion right now. And thank you so much to Maria Fernandez Brown, who is one of the most active and helpful members of that closed group. She's here for the save again. The Joel Fuhrman book is called Eat to Live. Thank you so much. You just saved me the hassle of having to put that now in the bottom comments. So Eat to Live, Joel Fuhrman, amazing book. And again, thank you guys for being a part of this community. Those of you that are in there, you guys are inspiring me. We're inspiring each other. There's a lot of cool momentum happening the more that we really dive into this stuff together. If you haven't done it and you're watching the tail end of this video, go watch Forks Over Knives. Please, go watch it. Go watch it. It will change your life. Like I said, I had to watch it for 4 years, like over 6 times before I even tried this way of eating. So it took me a while to get here. I hope it doesn't take you quite as long, and I hope my journey can be some form of inspiration to you. You guys have a great day.